Hi everybody, it's Carla from Casey Creates. It's been a while and I just had some things I thought I'd have fun sharing with you. That is, if you're interested in seeing. I started crafting, doing a lot of Christmas crafts, and came back to crafting after being out of town and realized I think I'm actually running out of some of my stash. So I went on a little thrift haul journey and picked up quite a few things, and then I went on Amazon and found some really good deals. Now I have a limited budget, extremely limited, so I narrowed everything down to just the cash in my pocket, which wasn't a lot, but I think I got a lot for a little. And so I thought I would show you one thing that a lot of people ask, and this was a question asked in the 10 crafty questions, was where do you buy your supplies? And so I do a lot of thrift store shopping, and for my lace journals and lace projects I take lace and trim off of secondhand clothing. And so a couple days ago I got several items. I just walked right from the garage and dumped everything in the wash, and this was a linen skirt, and it's really nice quality linen, and it already had the ruffled trim, so I cut it into rectangles which will eventually be book pages. And then it had a really long green, I think this might be rayon fabric, but super pretty ruffle. And a lot of it, the size wasn't in the skirt anymore, but it looked like it might have been a medium or a large women's size. And so I also cut all of this ruffled trim, and it's always wonderful when it's already ruffled for you. So I got that, and I was able to cut enough rectangles. These would end up being pockets. But look at all of this fabric. This could end up being in a book form, and then another book form with these two. And then all of this trim and this extra would be for pockets. So I think from one skirt that was $1.99, I have enough to make 2 book forms. So I thought that was an excellent deal. Then I had this really ugly, they had this really ugly curtain, but on the bottom of the curtain, I don't know if you can see it, it's actually really nice quality lace. And again, it was already ruffled, so I just washed it and took the lace trim off. There's still a little bit of the corded hem on there, but that's okay because I think that'll add a little more bulk. And I just love this lace, and this whole valance on the curtain was a quarter. They had a table that had anything on the any item on the table was a quarter. So I got all this beautiful ruffled trim. Now I did notice a few little tattered holes, which are repairable. There were a couple sections I just tossed, and then some sections where the ruffle part ripped off. But I mean, it's still going and going, more and more and more for a quarter. So I don't know about you, but I love watching people's haul videos, especially when they get lace and fabric and doilies and things like that. So I thought I would just chat with you. I have several projects in the works. You okay, Rusty? Uh-oh. I think he's telling me. I put my box on his bench where he watches out the window, and he wasn't very happy with me, so I had to move it. Anyway, so this is just some more of that lace. And then on the bottom of, I think it was a sheet, was this really beautiful trim. And no, I think this was a pillowcase. Anyway, I've already washed it and tea dyed it, and it's a really heavy cotton. So I really like that one. This was an item on the 1/4 table where it was 25 cents. And it's nothing special, it's just a crocheted cotton doily, but definitely makes good lining for doily books. So I have that one. More of this. And then this one is gorgeous. It's an oval. And this was free. It was given to me by a friend when I was back home. She gave me this and a couple other pieces. But I think I may have already, let's see. Oh yeah, she gave me this one. And I just got through watching Laquita on Pampered Petals make this beautiful lace purse, and so I was very inspired by that, and I'm going to use some of these vintage doilies for that. Here's another beautiful one, and I already tea dyed that one, and another one. So they've been washed and tea dyed, I just haven't ironed them yet. And I think I have one more. Oh, this. My sweet friend Satina, we grew up together. Anyway, she gifted me this piece as well. And I think this piece is gorgeous. Okay, can see that. Oops. So I have some lace journals that I want to make. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to try and do it while you watch in segments. I think I might try. Here's the last doily, and it has a little bit of a linen center, and I'll just iron this one really well too. So I didn't realize how far down all my doilies have dwindled, but that's kind of a good sign because that means I've been working. Let's see, I want to show you what I do with clothing. So this is a girl's dress, and I hope I can get it in enough for you to see. This is the waistband, and it has this beautiful satin ribbon, and I just washed it really good. It wasn't really dirty, but I always wash what I bring home from the thrift store. And then it was overlaid with this iridescent lace, and then it has another layer of probably polyester lining, which makes great fabric flowers. So if you can't bear to watch, this is what I do. I take my scissors and I cut about, I don't know, 2 inches from the waistband, because if you cut this right, this can stay ruffled. And if you want something already ruffled, if you cut it off carefully, excuse me, then that'll remain ruffled, and then this part will be great for overlay on lace books, and it was also good for making fabric flowers. There's probably other things you can do with it as well, but I'm going to cut all of this off and then show you how wonderful it can be. And several of you probably already do this, but there's 2 reasons I like to use children's clothing. One is the pattern. If you're looking for something with a smaller print, the print is usually smaller on children's clothes, and I don't make really large lace journals, so I like a smaller pattern. And then the other reason is economically, the children's clothes are usually cheaper than adults. So I now have all of this fabric. I'm going to try to fold it up here. and I can put it away neatly. And I've been just discarding the other parts that I don't use. It's just too hard to hold on to it until I decide what to do with it. So I now have this beautiful iridescent lace that garment was 99 cents at the thrift store. So I know I wouldn't have gotten all that for 99 cents. So I have that. And then another pattern that we like a lot, that I see a lot, and you can find this embroidered rosebud pattern in the thrift store and in the fabric store. But I again got this pretty little girl's dress, and it was, I think, 25 cents if I'm not wrong. And so I just cut it off. Now it did have on the lining, I've washed it, but it had some staining. Sometimes I don't take these clothes if they're in really good shape, because I figure it'll be helpful to someone to get at that good of a price. But since it was already stained, I knew I could wash it, and so I justified buying it and cutting it up that way. So I didn't feel like I was taking something away from someone who may have really needed it. But look at how pretty this is. It's gorgeous. And I have an all purple project in mind with butterflies in honor of my mom. So I picked this up with that in mind. And then it also has some really sweet, pretty satin trim here as well. So that was in my thrift store haul. And another thing in my thrift store haul, which is sometimes hard for me to find, is all of this eyelash trim. And really, this was the main color I wanted, this cream color. But there's tons of it, and then there's this taupey color. And I think she gave me this whole bag for 99 cents. There's 2 bundles of pink and the white and green and purple, again for my purple project. So I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I think for all this haul stuff I got over the last couple of days, I might have spent $20, maybe. So I feel like you can't beat that. So what else did I get? Some of these items I wasn't sure I was going to share or not, but I think I will, because I was home at for my mother's memorial service, and one of the hard things we had to do was go through Mom's closet, and I realized I wasn't ready for that, but people were working so feverishly because everyone's from out of town and they wanted to get it done, and I was the only one being really resistant. Let me see here. I'm just gonna lay this down so you can see. And they were very kind. Nobody was upset with me, but I just didn't really want to go through Mom's stuff yet. But one thing that I did go ahead and do was take the trim off of 2 of her dresses that she wore in my sister's wedding, which was the mother of the bride dress. And her colors were black, white, and teal. And so this is the trim on the mother of the bride dress that my mother wore. And my sister really wanted me to use it for a lace project. So I got the courage to go ahead and take this and take it apart. It had a big bow because this was in the early 90s. So they were still doing the satin bows with the rhinestones. I think this was a Waters and Waters dress. But anyway. So I did get that trim off of Mom's mother of the bride dress. And then from the mother of the bride dress in my wedding, which was like a soft peachy pink color, I went ahead and took some of the trim off of that one. And it looked like this. So I didn't really want to show the actual dress. I can still see the dry cleaner tag on this one. So these were just under dry cleaner plastic and had been there for, I've been married 26 years, so a long time. And rather than have them go away, I decided I'd take the trim off, and now they will be incorporated into a beautiful, hopefully beautiful lace journal. So that's some of the trim off of my mother's mother of the bride dress from my wedding. And then Mom had just random things like this scarf, which is, ooh, it's so shiny it'll almost blind you. So we had this one. Oh, there's my glitching camera. And then another thing I found out, my mom collected fabric to make dolls. And there's things you find out about people, I guess. I just had no idea. I knew she liked doll clothes, but anyway, I found this really sweet fabric with that really pretty little print. The tiny little flowers and butterflies. So that was really sweet. She just had little stashes of fabric. There's another one. And then this one's really sweet. It's got little prints on it, daisies and berries, and just some nice cotton pieces here. Look at how sweet that one is, teeny little rosebuds. And then you guys, I know I love fairies, but I did not expect to find fairy fabric among some of my mother's fabric. Aren't these cute? I don't know what I would do with them. They're very bright and not really the way I work, but I'm going to hold on to it because Mom had it. And it's sparkly and pretty and super cute. Here's another little random remnant. And then I really liked this pattern. That was pretty. And I found a little bit of lace trim in her things. This is really pretty. Pretty lace. Let's see if I put it on here. It's nice and cottony and vintage feeling. So it's tied up in a little bundle. And then she had some random pieces like this of rickrack and narrow trim. So I'm really happy to have some of the remnants that Mom had among her things. She might have one more thing in here. But you know what? I think I'm going to do a little video of treasures from Mom's house, because there's a few other things that don't really mix with the lace and fabric and doilies. But those things I thought went along with the theme of this haul video, so I wanted to show you those. I have a few more things. I ordered on Amazon at a really reasonable price. These are things I was really out of, and when I lived in Arizona, it was so easy to just go thrifting once a week and keep my stash well supplied. I thought I had trouble finding lace and doilies there, but I have a lot more trouble finding it here, especially at a reasonable price. So these lace trims are all white. I'm sure they're from China, but they dye really nice. I'm sorry, I know some of you don't like the crinkling noise, so there we go, all done. Sorry, Rusty. I am all in your way, aren't I? Go, bud. Go, go. There you go. So, these lace trims, I can't see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So, I got 10 of these, and it says it's a little over 33 yards of lace. And so, what I'm literally going to do is, let's see, dunk these in the whole roll in different colors, like tea dye and pink, and that way I can dye all of these, and they're all different patterns. but they were really inexpensive. So 10 little bundles. I think these were $6.99 on Amazon. I think all I did was typed in cotton lace trim, but I don't think these are cotton. But they will serve the purpose. So I got those. And I'm going to come back and do a video on decoupaging a teacup and saucer. I don't know why, I've always been wanting to do that. And I found a really nice shaped teacup and saucer that's all white, and I want to put decoupaged napkins. So this is one of the patterns that I thought was really pretty. Excuse me. And I can use that for other things in Happy Mail. Pardon me. And then these doilies, which I think are super pretty. I see other people using floral print doilies in their journals, and I just went on Amazon and hunted for some, and I found some really pretty ones. There's this one. It's like a cocktail size. And then this one is like the dessert plate size. So there's 12 of each. And I mean, because I'm so used to thrift store prices, this would be considered expensive to me because it was, I think, $5 or $6.99. But it was worth it because it's exactly what I was looking for. And I also found doilies. And this is before I went thrifting and before my friend Satina gifted me some. Because I want to make some more doily books, but I don't have enough uniform size ones. So I went ahead and bought some. And normally I always just use what I find at thrift stores. But these were nice and uniform and very inexpensive. I got 12 of this one. Oh, I didn't pull these apart yet. Anyway, you can tell it's a very common one. But they're nice and thin and delicate. And I thought I could layer them with this crocheted one that is a heavier cotton one. Because I just love layering them and getting layers and layers of the lace. So this one is a 4-inch one, and this one is a 6-inch one. And I think one bundle was $11.99 and one was $7.99. And that's probably the most I'll ever spend on doilies, because if you just take time and hunt week after week, you can build your stash pretty well. I just haven't had the luxury of getting out and about that much. So I still haven't spent what I would normally spend had I been thrifting every week like I used to do in Arizona. So those were the doilies I found. And then, if you're not bored yet, you can keep watching and I'll show you the really inexpensive bundles of lace and ribbon. So one of the journals I want to make is a Peter Rabbit journal, but I want to make it sort of with garden colors. And I was at this trim store and they had these really pretty ginghams. And what I'm going to do with the ginghams, if I can pull this out and show you, is they had this card of lace that's super pretty and really vintage looking. And again, it's sort of dark. What do I do with that? I'm going to find something to lay it on so you can actually see it. Okay, that works. So look how pretty. It's like a heavy cottony feel. And I spent some time making it look like it was woven with this. I tried weaving it in and out, but the holes are so big it just didn't look very nice. So I did it with the green and the yellow, and then they had this really fun little floral print. So those are going to go on the pages of my Peter Rabbit journal. So I got that at the trim store. Oh, and the spools of ribbon like this were, I think, 25 cents. Like I said, I didn't break the bank because I shouldn't break the bank. And I was grateful because, like I said, I just used my cash on hand. And then there was this one and this one. Sometimes I see these ribbons and I just pass them up because I really don't know how I would incorporate the color into my work. But because they were so expensive and I really want to do the Peter Rabbit journal, I'm going to add color in that one. And then the trims, oh my goodness, look at this. You're not going to believe how inexpensive he sold this stuff to me. So losing Mom has been really hard because it still hasn't sunk in that she's not here. And so the last couple of days I just needed to be out with some clear my mind kind of activities. And of course, shopping for lace and trim is one of my favorites. But look at this. I think there's like 3.5 yards on here. 25 cents. Another one. Beautiful green. Oh, I wish it showed up as pretty as it really is. But I think he gave me this. Yes, it was $1 for all this lace. So I will be sharing, you guys. I really look forward to sharing this. This was 5 yards of this beautiful salmon pink color, but it was only 15 cents a yard. And it's just gorgeous. And then this lavender one, I believe this was $1. Yeah, he gave me this one for $1. And then there's this really nice wide yellow one. It's a soft yellow. And he gave me that one for $1. So it's sort of like a mom and pop little trim and fabric and upholstery store, and it's been there probably forever. And it's kind of one of those best kept secrets. So when I can, I think this has only been my 3rd visit this year, but today or that day, a couple days ago, it was especially a great trip because of how inexpensive I got these laces. Now this is a really pretty pink. It's a little more vibrant than the other pink. It's just not showing up as vibrant. There it is. That's a pretty one. Again, 25 cents. And check this out. Oodles and oodles of this one. And he couldn't figure out. Anyway, he gave this whole thing to me for 25 cents. And it is just loaded with lace. So I walked out of there feeling really smart and blessed. Because I think he just had been holding on to these forever and decided if someone's going to purchase them, I'm just going to sell them to get them out of here. So this gorgeous peachy color lace. And none of these are stretchy. They're all nice cotton ones. This one says it was 50 cents. And look at this beautiful one. It's got a little bit of shimmer. And it's like a aqua blue. Love this one. Or turquoise. And it was 25 cents. And another purple one. Can you see how much is on there? I've had a lot of pottery going on this week. My hands are showing it. Anyway, we're looking at the lace, aren't we? I hope. Excuse me. And this really pretty delicate lavender one. I was watching videos and I saw Chrissy Crosser, and she had revamped a bag of old lace and put it on these beautiful cards. And oh my goodness, she just made them look like these wonderful little treasures. I haven't gotten that accomplished yet, but I really enjoyed her video. And then I got a ton of this beautiful cream colored ruffled lace. I hope you can see that. It's a little tangled because I bought this one off the Bolt, but it was only 25 cents a yard, and there's tons of it, and I like to put these in my lace books to add a little bit of lift and dimension when it's already ruffled. And this one I like to make fairy flowers out of. Can you see the colors? It's got gray and pink and blue and green, and I don't know if it's showing up well, but it does make beautiful flowers. I still haven't done well incorporating a lot of color, but I'm going to try to work on that. So I got tons of that one, and then this is the same, only it's narrow. My sister gifted me some of this a couple years ago when I first started crafting, and I had never seen it again until just now. So I was able to get a bunch of that, and then there was some Chinese braid, and I really like the texture of this one. And I just got what was left. I think it was 2 yards. And then last but not least, from the trim store, is just some really pretty soft pink eyelet lace trim. And I bought the rest of this one, which was 25 cents a yard, and I think that was 2 yards. And then I have a couple Christmas journals that I need to finish, and I was at Joann's and I found excuse me, some fabric with images, which will make it easier. I love this one that says peace, and I'll just stitch these with a little bit of felt underneath or quilting to make them a little more padded. And then there's an angel, and there's Mary and Jesus, baby Jesus. And this was all 40% off plus an additional 25% off. So I got a little more than a half a yard. I was going to get just a half a yard, but it was cut right through the middle of the images, and I wanted to get a generous amount of the images. So I have this to help finish my lace journal, Christmas lace journals. And I have rattled on and on, but if you hung with me, I appreciate it. I just wanted to show you my fabric, lace, and doily haul, and some of the special little additions from my mother's stash. And then one last thing is this is the button can. Does everyone have a button can at home? We grew up with this button can, and you know, I never thought it would be my button can one day, but in here I haven't rummaged through it yet. Just a bunch of random buttons, and if you like buttons, it's just kind of fun. Looks like the mom used to put buttons on the back of earrings, and she never had her ears pierced, so she would use these little clip backings. So anyway, I've got mom's old little button box. There's a pretty covered one. So that's all I have for this video. I'm sure you're probably saying that's more than enough, because it did kind of find quite a few things, but it was fun to visit with you for a little bit, and I hope you are having a great time crafting, and I hope there's a lace trim store near you where you can find some awesome deals like I was just able to get in on for very cheap. And stay tuned, I'll have some more videos coming your way, because I want to show you my Peter Rabbit journal that I'm going to work on. And there was one other thing, but I'll be back soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.